Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the second channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The pistol meta here in Warzone is an interesting one because obviously there's a lot of situations where you might need a pistol. Maybe you have a loadout that you don't need overkill on. Maybe you know that the end zone is going to be in water, so you're going to have to play to that with a pistol, obviously, since that's the only type of weapon we can use there in those types of engagements. So there is actually a pretty viable use for a lot of different pistols in Warzone, and some of them are actually surprisingly good. Some of them are also incredibly useless. We're covering all of them here today, though, breaking down the best loadout for every pistol in the game. As we get into it, if you enjoyed the video, if you find it helpful at all, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And if you guys are new here, you want to guarantee you're always up to date with every video I post, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Yeah, as I mentioned, not every pistol is necessarily good or useful or should exist, and the GS Magna is one of those. This is a Desert Eagle, but it's worse because it's full auto and more awkward and almost unusable because the recoil is so just, ugh. It's so bad. I don't know why this thing exists. It should have just been a Deagle attachment. But anyways, if for whatever reason you wanted to use this gun, I'd recommend not using the iron sight because that is abysmal when you're in full auto. So I like just the basic blue dot. It makes it a little bit easier to see. I also got the 13 round mag. That's the max here. You're gonna burn ammo crazy fast because the fire rate. The Bruin Warrior grip. You have to use an underbarrel on this pistol because the recoil is so absurd. Even this is not going to make it all that easy to use. I go for the 50 GS sort of suppressor here. It's going to offer a little bit of control, velocity as well if you wanted to use this underwater. And then I go for the long shot barrel mainly because it'll help out with that range. Again, make it a little bit easier maybe, but I mean, all of these are going to be awkward. You could also try the Tyrant 50 for the better control, but this weapon is just not really it in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, I don't know why it exists. Now, the X13 Auto, a little bit more viable. Obviously, it was super broken at one point in time. It's since been nerfed and is not going to be absolutely busted, but it's a super easy pistol to use and probably in the top two most viable for an actual secondary, right? Because we can't have it in that full auto mode and it's going to feel like a mini SMG. The TTK won't be anywhere as close to a standard SMG, but again, for underwater fights, for those late game scenarios where you might not need overkill, it could be decent as a nice secondary option here. So initially I got the 50 round drum. You might as well, right? It's full auto, so you can just spray and pray. Really does make it feel like it's a mini SMG. OLZ rear grip, just straight up for better control, going to make it a bit easier to use there. The impact point barrel is going to make you actually have more attachments available for this, and we can also, get the better control out of this as well, again, making it easier to use. And because of this barrel, we do get the Coach Whip stock here. The stats are bugs, but it is going to make it actually more efficient for the close range. And then we got the diode laser as well for the better ADS and sprint to fire, similar to like the 7 milliwatt or the Olay laser on a standard sub. So it's fun to use for sure. Not the absolute greatest close range option compared to some regular primaries, but for a pistol, it's really good. Now, the snake shots or the Basilisk is definitely going to be a decent close range option for a pistol, even though it's not going to be crazy broken like it once was either. I still feel like the best way to go about building this is going to be to use it in that akimbo snake shot style, just because if you're going with this solo, it's the most unforgiving weapon possible because the fire rate's not all that crazy. This, like I said, not absolutely busted, but good enough that it would actually, win against other pistols there. So we do have the akimbo option on there for the rear grip. Definitely cowboy style loadout here, right? The 7 milliwatt laser for hip fire control, and obviously going to make you more accurate there since we're hip fire only in akimbo. The snake shot ammo to really help with that damage. FTAC arrow barrel for the better range. It might extend that 1 to 2 hit kill out a little bit more depending on the enemy's health. Then the match grade trigger here just for that faster fire rate, so you can spam it maybe a little bit more. Definitely requires very precise aim, but if you are hitting your shots up close, it's going to feel like a mini shotgun. Now, the X12 is honestly a very competitive pistol, all things considered. It's not as easy to use as like the X13 or upcoming the Siege, just because it is still semi-auto, but I'm sure you know when you drop into a game, you start off with the X12 and you're okay to actually challenge some fights with this thing. If you can actually land shots consistently, you're gonna break armor and honestly knock players pretty quick for it being a pistol. Sometimes it honestly feels like this thing's a bit busted if you're landing a couple of headshots in there. So like for a starter pistol or actually using this on a loadout, it's a pretty decent choice in all honesty. We got the Lima 6 rear grip for the fast draw, the better ADS and sprint to fire, just making it more aggressive. The 24 round mag, that's going to be the smallest extended mag, but it's going to be fine for semi-auto, and it's nice to have that extra ammo in there for sure. Diode laser on here yet again. The TR9 trigger for the faster fire rate. You can just spam it even more if you got a good trigger finger. Then I go for the Luck 9 barrel, better movement speed and ADS speed. So really, I'm just making it a bit more aggressive, a bit more fast paced. And like I said, it's surprisingly good if you can spam it and actually land shots consistently. Another weapon that I'm not really sure anyone should run in Warzone is the Deagle. You occasionally get this in like the Gulag, or I think sometimes as a starter pistol as well in Resurgence. And oh, it's just brutal. So unforgiving if you miss your shots. I mean, if you land your shots, it's all right because it's a powerhouse. Like, it'll knock players quick. You just have to be 100% accurate all the time, which is just not realistic, right? But if you wanted to use one as a custom build, I guess this is a decent loadout for it. Like, there's no way to make the Deagle all that good, right? Diode laser, snappier ADS. The 50 barrel, I mean, a little bit better control if you're trying to spam, and helps out the range a little bit. The compensator, though, for the vertical control, because this thing does kick like crazy, obviously. The hair trigger for the faster fire rate, like, you want to be able to spam it for sure. And then overpressured ammo, maybe you could use hollow point or frangible if you wanted to. Maybe go for an extended mag if you care enough. Like I said, there's not really a scenario where the Deagle is ever going to be a great choice to have. It's just going to be an inconvenience for everyone at all times in any gunfight. A90, honestly, on the more competitive side of things here, though, pretty good TTK, especially in the close range. And with that, I might as well make it a bit more fun. I'd say go for a Kimbo, you know? If you're going to use a pistol up close, two is better than one in some cases, especially if you're exclusively fighting super close range. This is going to be pretty solid, you know, for pushing buildings and whatnot. You can just spam it and you got two of them. You're hitting that hip fire. If you're accurate with it, you might actually fry some players. So we do have the 1 milliwatt laser on there, obviously for the hip fire accuracy there on top of Akimbo. Bruin Express trigger, again for the faster fire rate, just so we can spam a little bit more. I go for overpressured ammo, induce that flinch. Again, though, hollow point and frangible are both decent choices as well. Then the 12 round mag, unfortunately, this is the max here, but with two pistols, you got 24 ammo. That's some quick maths for you. It's enough to fight close range and actually get a knock and then reload to get back into it. If you're fighting multiple players at once, chances are with a pistol anyways, you're not going to be able to do much. Now, the new 9mm Damon, also a pretty solid pistol for semi-auto, right up there with the X12 and even the P890 as well. Plus, it's got the coolest inspect animation, and that's got to count for something, right? You can knock some players, and as they're sitting there not getting rezzed, you can do some animations in front of them and make them feel bad that they got knocked with the pistol, but it's pretty solid. I mean, you could use a Kimbo for sure, like the P890, and build it out a similar way, and it'll be decent. I like it more as a semi-auto pistol, just single, because it's going to actually work well like the X12. So I go for the hands rear grip for the better ADS, the better sprint to fire, and the fast draw. 20 round mag will be totally sufficient here for spamming. It does have a pretty fast fire rate if you can spam it. Diode laser yet again. The Dex 8 trigger for the faster fire rate, and then also the tri-port muzzle, just better vertical control to help limit that bounce a little bit when you are shooting it rather quick. But it's a DLC pistol. I would recommend leveling it up because it's actually pretty competitive as just a general pistol loadout. And then lastly, we got really the only pistol I'd actually genuinely consider using in the overall meta, the FFAC Siege. It's by far the best pistol in the game because it basically is a mini SMG, more so than the X13. It's much more competitive there for underwater fights. Just having as a secondary there, if you need that regain loadout without overkill, this is going to work really, really well. So speaking of overkill, 72 round drum, why not, right? Have some fun with this thing. 50 is also totally sufficient and also is going to be a little bit faster, so keep that in mind. You could use either or there. They're both going to work fine. I go for the SIR 160 rear grip for the ADS and sprint to fire. The Siege stock will help out with some control, so it just makes it a little bit more straightforward and easy to use. Diode laser yet again. And then I like the CM RN50 barrel. It does give you a little bit of extra velocity, which if you're fighting underwater is going to be wildly clutch since that kills your velo so much. Also some better control there too. This is actually a very usable pistol, like I said, in the general meta, by far the best and probably also the easiest to use since it is full auto. You can just spray and pray. 72 rounds of just pure fun really is what this is. SMGs will still have that better TTK, but for a pistol, this one definitely takes the crown. And that being said, those are the best pistol loadouts here in Warzone right now, and that's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.